Expect him to get 15-plus carries in this one. Then you got Devin Achane, the second back for A&M, averaging 6.8 yards per carry, and he's also getting some dump-offs from the quarterback. I doubt Smith sees that much action at running back, should be at wide receiver mainly. Offensive line also goes with the rushing game. Arkansas is able to beat their offensive line up front. They'll limit that rushing game. A&M's averaging 184 rushing yards per game. On offense, they're averaging 28.3 points per game, and they play a lot of clean football. 19 penalties on the year, only 170 yards given up. That goes for offense and defense. Now for the Arkansas secondary here, I expect Monteric Brown, a.k.a. Busta, to be on Smith. Maybe some Greg Brooks Jr. too at nickelback because Smith will line up in the slot too. Busta and Brooks are the best two coverage guys on this team, so I'm definitely fine with that matchup on Smith. And then Chatmas, Dimas, Lane, I think you'll see them line across guys like Bishop, maybe a little bit of Hudson Clark if we go three corners into a game. I do think we got to protect the long ball because I think it could be creating some issues off deep passes with the backup corners because sometimes those routes have been getting open in the last few games. Just limit their skilled wide receivers in coverage. Another thing is avoid targeting. Last year, Jalen Callan, he got ejected in this game due to targeting, and the whole defensive backfield fell apart. Callan and Fouché starting safeties, and then Miles Slusher, the, just versatile defensive back. He can really play any position. He might be able to play some corner too, so I would like him at that cornerback 3 spot if available. And really, Arkansas here just has to let Callan shine in that defensive back position. Let him make big tackles on the run defense, help the deep ball coverage. Just let him shine and do his superstar ability. Now, Arkansas's defensive line has to take advantage of the A&M offensive line being inexperienced and, frankly, not that great compared to their other positions. And the Hawks just got to eat up front in the trenches. Now, Calzada's grade nearly halved against New Mexico when he was pressured. So getting pressure would be number one more than anything on the pass rush. You got the big man JR, John Ridgeway, to eat up in the middle. Trey Williams off the edge along with Zach Williams. I bet you'll see some Isaiah Nichols too. I do expect Arkansas to get 2+ sacks. This defensive line room is really deep. We're in a position where we can rotate guys around 6-7 deep. So use that versatility and, rotations to keep guys fresh going in to the second half, fourth quarter, things like that. Create pressure and clog the rush down the middle. 142 passing yards allowed by this pass rush and secondary for Arkansas. Rounding out the Arkansas defensive room is a linebacker core that's stronger than ever. 2 super seniors in Hayden Henry and Grant Morgan will get the start. Hunter Henry and Bumper Pool have been effective run stoppers, getting clean tackles. You got the All-American Grant Morgan. If you look near the ball, Grant Morgan is going to be near it. He's always moving around the field, setting up linebackers, setting up defensive line, being a leader out there in his 6th year in a Razorback uniform. Just love his coverage and tackle abilities as well. I do expect 25+ tackles from this group as a whole, and just pick up assignments on Weidemeyer as well. And if he does catch the ball, tackle him cleanly and effectively to stop him from gaining extra yards down the field. And the thing is, with this Arkansas defense, they've really just got to be able to stop any potential long ball and explosive plays from Calzada and just limit to that A&M running game. I do expect this to be a heavy running game because at one point or another, regardless of how good these run defenses are, it'll break. Both offensive lines are banged up to a certain ability. Whether those guys play or not is yet to be seen, but even if they play, usually you're not going to be playing your full best after an injury unless it was a really minor one. I mean, the running game will be key for both teams here, but one of the sides is going to have to budge. It'll be a dogfight for all 4 quarters in those trenches. Now, for special teams, not worried about Arkansas kicking with Vito Calvaruso leading the SEC in touchbacks, and Cam Little is perfect on the year as a freshman kicker. One thing Arkansas has to do is have better punt coverage. Nia Smith, he's a dangerous punt returner. He had 4 returns for 116 yards last week. He had a punt return touchdown already this season. A&M also has a great punter and kicker. Their kicker, Small, is 10 for 10 and 5 for 6 on the year on field goals, 10 for 10 being on extra points. And then their punter is Nick Constantinu. He has a 64-yard punt against Colorado. He's a great punter from Melbourne, Australia. Now, Vegas has Arkansas as a 5.5 underdog, the over-under being a 47.5. And then ESPN FPI gives Arkansas a 42.6% chance to win, which is very high considered to their previous amount. But I think that 42 number could be a little bit higher. I'm not giving my prediction today, though, and I'm sorry. I know I normally do that on the Wednesday shows, but there's just too many unknowns with injuries and such. But I'm not going to leave y'all hanging. On Friday, I'm going to release a quick little podcast bonus show. Shouldn't be any more than 7 minutes. I'll go into the injury update, I'll go into my prediction, how I think the game goes, and the final score. Should be a great game versus Texas A&M. It'll be nervous. I mean, it wouldn't be an Arkansas A&M game if it didn't come down to the wire. Should be one of the best games in college football and watched by everybody. I mean, you turn on TV wherever you are in the nation, and CBS is going to have the Hogs playing. So, y'all know the deal. Signing off for now, but for always, Woo Pig Suey.
That's all for today's episode of All Hog Sports with Sam Stimson. Make sure to stay tuned for the next episode covering all Arkansas Razorback sports. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on social media too. On Twitter and Instagram at All Hog Sports Pod. Like on Facebook at All Hog Sports and Arkansas Razorbacks Podcast. And on YouTube at that same name. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Go Hogs!